So if you take classes and you don't go to parties, it's bad. But if you go to social practices, you might even become a better dancer than taking only courses. But if you do both of them, that's where is the sweet spot, because you get the technical things, the information, and then you put it into practice. So it's the best thing that anyone can do in order to become a better dancer, because you practice a lot. You practice in one night, maybe like 1 month of classes, because you go to a party, maybe you dance for 5 6 hours, yeah, and you do that in 1 month of classes.
Hey. All right, so I'm now on the line with a Mr. Marius Turcu and Elena Radu, who are professional bachata and salsa dancers as well as instructors. You all are currently living in Romania, and
Yes.
you all have a super popular YouTube channel, which you also teach in your country as well in Romania. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. It's like
Wonderful.
our main thing to say so. Not right now because of the situation with the COVID, but before we have our school, and like during the week we teach, and in the weekends we travel.
Okay. Sure enough, sure enough. I want to ask, how are you all doing today?
Fine. It's a beautiful day outside. Actually, this wall wasn't the main background for today's interview. We wanted to do the interview in our studio where we film, but we didn't know, like right across the street there's a national championship with cars doing slalom things, and it's really loud. So right now we are actually in the locker room. Yeah, in the locker room. So this is the locker room.
Amazing, amazing. I want to first, start off by saying I want to thank you I want to thank you both for taking time out of your day to talk to me. I really appreciate that.
No problem, our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Of course, of course, of course. So, I think a great way to start this out, I would love to hear from both of you all. I would love to hear what was your childhood like growing up in Romania? What was that like for you two?
You go first.
The
Childhood, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can say that I had a pretty happy childhood. I was like a very, let's say, energetic girl, more like a boyish girl. I I I did a lot of things that, let's say, usually the boys do in their childhood.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, I wasn't so much with the dolls and so on. So I was pretty much outside doing like sports and all kind of activities. So yeah, I grew up in different cities in Romania. It's not, I didn't grow up in one city only. I moved a lot through the country. Um, and yeah, I did a lot of sports and activities, and I was very, very busy from a young age.
A busy kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I would say like not your normal childhood, because I have chronic asthma since I was like 2 years old, and like for the, if I remember correctly, like for the first 8 years there was no treatment, no inhalers, nothing. So it was a little bit tough with asthma crises, you call them, attacks, stuff like that. Then the inhalers appeared. Then I began living normally, to say so, slowly, slowly, slowly. But other than that, I am a pretty energetic and active person. Like my mind is racing all the time. When my mom used to send me, like buy groceries and stuff like that, I was running all the way back and forth and stuff like that. I did a lot of sports, a lot of activities, mainly in, let's say, the 10 to 20 years part of my life, because of the asthma. When I was a kid, I couldn't do them because I couldn't do them. So other than that, like your basic childhood.
I understand that. I definitely understand that. I'm curious. Growing up in Romania, how important was music growing up in both your households?
Hmm. Want to start or I start?
You start.
No, I start. Let's say that it wasn't part of, let's say, like the culture of growing up. Like for example, I saw documentaries and short clips about, let's say, the Dominican Republic. And they have the music ingrained into them since they are like really small kids. For me, it wasn't like that. Of course, we listened to music, like we had TV programs, stuff like that on the internet. But only around, let's say, high school, I kind of discovered I liked listening to songs and stuff like that, and going to parties, getting a little bit into the groove, and started to listen more and more and more and more. But growing up, it wasn't like a main thing to say so.
Yeah. Well, for me, being a girl, I suppose, it means that I love music a lot more since I was a young kid. I know a lot of songs. I know like all the let's say
Lyrics?
the lyrics from a lot of songs from different how do you say periods of time from the oldies but goldies and now I always loved to sing. I even sang in
Shower.
no shower in a like a chorus in a vocal
Yeah.
group and yeah I tried since I was little to even dance and listen to music all the time, so it was quite a big part from my life.
Okay, I understand that. And so, yeah, so you two, you're growing up in Romania. I'm very curious to hear, I guess, how did you all get introduced to dancing and to social dancing and everything?
I
You
will
start.
I will start. Yeah, so I always wanted to dance since I was a kid. But let's say the financial situation of my family wasn't not bad, but not so great. They were like average, and they couldn't afford to let me go to dance classes since I was a kid. I did some of them that were like free in that period in different cultural institutions. But I didn't dance exactly only until I was like, I think 20 years old. So that's when I started to really do dance classes and really like dance all the time. So I started first with some Bollywood dance. Yeah, so I did like 2 years, 2 years and a half, I think. And after that, I discovered like salsa. Salsa was my first love. So yeah, once I discovered it, I danced it like all the time.
Yeah.
I was every evening. I was at all the parties. I took all the classes that I could. And after that, I discovered bachata, and it became my new love. So now, yeah, we are more focused. Let's say we love more bachata, both of us.
Yeah. For me, like with the average scenario in my life, like with asthma and stuff like that, being a kid, I couldn't do lots of stuff. Also, yeah, later on, also my family couldn't afford like dance classes, etc., etc., etc. But I began learning on my own. I think also in high school, when just searching on the internet stuff like that, I found various hip hop dancers, to say so, and they were doing, like popping, waving, b-boying, stuff like that, and I was like, oh my god, I want to learn that. And I just started copying and learning on my own, training by myself. So most of my, let's say, experience as a dancer, I can say that I am self-taught. Is that the correct thing? Like teaching myself, yeah?
Yeah, self-taught, definitely.
Yeah, and but I got lucky like after 5 years when just dancing on my own. And it's also coincides with the period in which I connected with salsa and bachata and other dance styles. I went to, let's say, competition, but it wasn't something big. It was in our university. It was like Students Got Talent, and I did my choreography. I won. I don't remember. I think the first prize, I guess. And in the jury, or one of the judges had the dance school. Invited me to take an audition. I got in, and I was a part of that school for like 2 years, 2.5 years. So that's my only formal forming as a dancer. Those 2 years. Other than that, self taught myself. And that's the period in which I found salsa and bachata. And I always have a funny story. I was looking on YouTube and I was looking Daniel and Desiree videos. And I remember now it was like Daniel and Desiree Bachata. And I thought that Bachata was their name, like, like their family name. And I saw him. I loved Daniel because he also had a hip hop background. And when he was dancing, doing the waves, the body waves, I was, oh my God, you can do that with a girl. I want that. And that's how I
So
fell in love with bachata.
that's crazy to hear. Wonderful to hear. I want to hear from both of you all. I think Elena, you said you started with salsa first or bachata first?
Salsa,
Salsa.
salsa.
Okay, and so was bachata for you, Maurice?
I was doing both of them at the same time because
Okay,
there were
okay.
classes, and I was like being in the team, in the dance team. We had the opportunity to go to all classes for free, and I took everything that was in that school. So I was doing them in parallel, to say so. But
Okay.
of course, I loved more bachata because of the body waves and stuff like that.
So I want to ask you both, and I'm very curious to hear from you both. What was your beginner stage like?
Hmm.
You go first.
Yeah. For me, it's a little bit more, let's say not weird, but a little bit more complicated because I went into the salsa and bachata world, to say so, with a lot of dance experience from other dance styles. So for me, it was, let's say, a lot easier to understand the biomechanics, the movements, the principles, the technique. Uh, Mainly what I had problems, to say so, was with the music. I even after like 5 years of dancing, when you go from freestyling, like hip hop music, like you do whatever you want, you don't count, you just feel it, to say so. And then I went into a formal way of learning dance. I had to understand music, and it took me like I guess 1.5 years of just learning the basic music theory, understanding music, and that was my hardest part as a beginner, to say so, understanding music.
Yeah. Well, for me as a beginner, it was. I'm always a fast learner, so I can be happy for that. I don't know, the first months of dancing, I mean salsa, I was very shy. I was very afraid to ask someone to dance with me at the parties. But it didn't last too long. I adapted very fast to the social scene, let's say so. And because from the beginning, I was very easy to lead for the guys. It gave me a lot of confidence because all of them, they were asking me to dance even if I was a beginner, even if I didn't knew the steps. I just follow them and go through the music, through the dance, and they love that. So it gave me a lot of courage, and yeah, from there the evolution was quite fast, let's say so.
There's a funny story actually, because so let's take it like this. From I think like I was 15 or 16 when I began teaching myself hip hop, dance styles, etc. And until 21, I only did like this, like these dances. Later on, I got into the dance school. I began learning ballroom, salsa, bachata, merengue, etc. But then it took like, if I remember correctly, another 2 or 3 years to go to a party because I didn't knew there were parties. So I was learning all these styles like the salsa and the bachata ones, but I didn't knew that in my city there were like parties, you know. Of course, I went to some dance parties where they were putting so maybe one salsa, one bachata, but it was like mixed with everything. And the funny thing about why I was reacting like that when she said she was a very good follower is I went to a party and she was the first girl that I could do the waves and the isolations in bachata. And I was like, oh my God, there are girls that listen to what I am doing. And I was like, hallelujah.
Let me ask you this real quick. You kind of you said that you were not going to socials because you didn't know about them. I want to ask you both. Um, how beneficial is it as a dancer to go to social? So as well as going to practices, but how beneficial is social dancing, going to parties?
I would say it's much more beneficial than only. So if you take classes and you don't go to parties, it's bad. But if you go to social practices, you might even become a better dancer than taking only courses. But if you do both of them, that's where is the sweet spot because you get the technical things,
Information.
the information, and then you put it into practice. So it's the best thing that anyone can do in order to become a better dancer because you practice a lot. You practice in one night, maybe like 1 month of classes because you go to a party, maybe you dance for 5 6 hours, yeah, and you do that in 1 month of classes.
Yeah, and it's very important because you dance with a lot of different people and you develop a lot of different skills. And yeah, I think it's one of the most important thing as a dancer to really dance a lot.
But of course, like dancing, not going to a party and drinking, smoking, hanging out, and stuff like that. Really practicing.
No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I had someone on the show previously, and he told me that going to socials, going to parties is another form of practice, and that's something I really agreed with. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
for like there's also something you can do even better to say so. For example, it's called like focused practice. You can practice something but your mind can be wandering, just going through the motions. Or you can, let's say a beginner wants to learn how to do, let's say, a right turn, like lead a right turn. You go to a party and it's hard. We know it's hard, but you dance like all that night. You focus only for the right turn. That doesn't mean that you only do the right turn, but you have the right turn in your mind to focus on
As a
it.
goal.
Yeah, as a goal. So you do your steps. Okay, I'm gonna try a right turn. 1 2 3 5 6 7. Then you do other steps. Okay, let's try it again. So you gotta focus on what you want to learn better. Because if you only go to a party and you just have fun it's like in sports. You have trainings that you need to develop your skills, and you cannot do that if you don't focus on what you're doing. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, so what we say usually to our students is if you want to become a better dancer, the best form of yourself, let's say like this, when you're going to a social party, it's it's good to have at least one objective in your mind for the whole evening and say, okay, tonight, I don't know, as a girl, for instance, I will focus on following all the guys, whatever the move they are doing, and I will just try to improve my following skills,
Yeah.
for instance.
So yeah, having like a goal in mind. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
understand that. I definitely understand that. Definitely. So
Of course, I'm not saying that we should let go of the fun and
Yeah. No.
all of that comes with a social party. But if you have just one goal in your mind, then you will develop a lot more.
The thing is that mainly the beginners and even intermediate dancers, and for us, an intermediate dancer is like, let's say, 1 year of experience to say so at least. So, let's say in the first year, you're a beginner to say so. Of course, there are exceptions to that. but mainly, let's say 90% of the students, of the people we've talked to, of all the messages and stuff like that, are around how can I do that faster, to say so. So let's say you have 3 months of experience and you want to do head rolls, waves, be really sensual in bachata. And you cannot actually do that in 3 months. You cannot be perfect. And they want to know, okay, how can I become better? And we say, learn the wave, practice it a few, let's say a few days at home, and then when you go to the social, you think like, okay, now I will have tonight 3 dances on which I will focus only on the wave, because they also want to improve, but they want to have it all in the now, like that, and they cannot. So we advise them focus on only one thing, and you will see improvements, in the hopes, of course, that they will understand that you need to have patience and not rush things and take them one by one, because they want to do everything at once.
They don't have patience, yeah.
But I totally understand them because I am like that.
Now, patience is definitely a huge thing for anything in life. Yeah, definitely. Patience is like being kind to yourself. So I definitely understand that.
So I know
On
this is like, let's say, our interview, but I'm curious, what's your favorite dance style?
uh, so I originally got into salsa first, then got into bachata, then got into kizomba, and then I got into Brazilian zouk.
Oh,
Uh,
really nice.
yeah, yeah. So, but I think my favorite is kizomba. I really love kizomba.
And
Yeah.
it's not my area of expertise to say so, but like I know at least this, you like more, let's say, the urban kizomba, or let's say the more
Traditional, I
not.
guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough question, but I think I like traditional a little bit better. I think what draws me the most to it is the music, and I think that's
Yeah,
probably the same for you all. You all probably love bachata because you really enjoy the music, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was always saying that if there was, like, like the salsa speed and the salsa moves done on the bachata music, I would mix those.
I
Yeah.
definitely understand that. I definitely do. I want to ask you both this. So you both you meet at a social, and I guess you start dancing together and everything. At what point do I guess start to take things seriously, and what makes you decide to start teaching?
Want to go first?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, so when I began the classes for salsa and bachata, I really loved them. And as I said, I am a very fast learner, and my evolution was quite fast. So at the time, that instructor that taught me these dances took me as an assistant instructor, let's say so, because he was like traveling and teaching in more cities in our country, and he didn't have his partner always with him. So I began helping him with the teaching, and I really loved it. And another thing is that I have a qualification, let's say, so I'm a teacher for kindergarten and primary school. So I'm lucky because I had already the skills of teaching other persons. So I love it. I really love it when I help other people to understand something, and I can teach them and inspire them. So from there, yeah, I teach like a period of time. Then that school that I was dancing in didn't exist anymore in my city, and I took a break of teaching. And after that, I met him, and we really connected, and we had like the same goals. And yeah, and one day we thought we want to do something more. We want to give something more to our community. We want to train ourselves more and become better, because at that time in our city, it was like the beginning of this kind of dances. It wasn't so developed and so on. And we thought, okay, we want to do everything to really raise this community in our city.
Yeah, for me it was, let's say, similar. I entered that school that I was talking about. I was learning, I was like going to classes, and after like 1 year, I said, "Hey, if you need an assistant, I am here," because the position was available to say so. And I was like an assistant, and that helped me. But let's say the most important thing that helped me was my affinity or my pleasure or my attraction to the psychological part of the social interactions. What do I mean by that? I read a lot of books. I even practiced a lot of things, like being more attentive to people, how they are speaking, how they are body language, to say so. And also, I really like observing things. So I am quite good at biomechanics. I can, for example, you can dance, and I need only like 20-25 seconds of seeing you dance, and I can say a list of 20 things that you can improve and how to improve them, to say so. So that was really beneficial for teaching, because I'm not the kind of person to be in front of the class, just copy me and that's it. No, I'm doing the moves, I'm counting, I try to make them smile, to make them laugh, but also at the same time I'm looking in the mirror and I try to learn how they are doing the moves, understand, let's say, the errors, and then find how to make them understand how to do it better. But this I cannot say came from teaching. This I previously had because, as I said, I trained to be more observant and I really like the interaction, the social psychology, to say so. And we went like full instructors, to say so. As Elena said, was a moment in which I said, "Come on, there has to be something better, something we can do to improve the community in which we are in." And we started our group, to say so, because I was the first person in my city that could do like body waves, isolations, chest rolls, stuff like that, because I had the hip hop background. Yeah. So that's how we started.
Okay, that's great to hear. Great to know. I'm very curious. I've never had a chance to travel to Romania. What is the social dancing scene like in Romania?
Amazing.
You should come.
You should come.
Especially for Kizomba.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have,
yeah, yeah.
we have, oh my God, I mean, our people now just love Kizomba.
They're
crazy about Kizomba.
yeah. No, for real. So let me start with this. Until like 4 years ago or 3 years, yeah, ago, when we started being more into the phenomenon, like traveling, getting to know more artists, exchanging experience, traveling abroad, not aboard. Yeah. So I had the mentality of, oh my God, our country is like the last place for social dancing.
We thought the level is
Yeah,
way low than other
we
countries.
thought that, but then we began traveling. We began talking with other international artists, and they said the exactly reverse.
The opposite.
The opposite. They were like, "Oh my God,
you have such good dancers."
yeah, amazing dancers and so young." I couldn't believe it because in our country, like let's say the average is between, let's say, 18 and I don't know, let's say 40, to say so. Yeah, but the majority of them are like, let's say, around 20, 30, something like that. So we have like really young dancers. And in Europe, we traveled to a few countries, and we also had a few friends, and they were saying to us like the average age is a little bit bigger. So they don't have, let's say, communities in which the sensual bachata is so developed, because it's not, from a certain age, you don't go into the waves and like head rolls and stuff like that. And I changed my perspective. That's why we say it's an amazing
Scene. Yeah.
scene.
We
Yeah.
have a lot of great dancers, and we are very passionate, all of us in general, about dance. And it really grows. It really grows fast, and it grows faster and faster. And yeah, we are happy to be a part of this community. And
As a joke and also as a true story, one of our friends and like one of the first people that put the groundwork for salsa in Romania like 11, 12 years ago said that he was with Fernando Sosa in one of our festivals, and he was telling it like a story, making us laugh, stuff like that. So things might be a little bit embellished. So he said like Fernando Sosa was dancing with the girls, and our girls, they are kind of crazy. I mean, in salsa, they want to spin, spin, spin.
they have a lot of energy.
Yeah, they had a lot of energy, and the joke was like, "Oh, come on, I'm Fernando Sosa, I can do all this." And the funny part was that in the morning, Sosa was still spinning our Romanian girls because they just wanted more and more and more. So we are crazy people. We love to party, we love to dance, and yeah, you should come to Romania after the COVID.
Yeah, I would
Issue.
absolutely love to come. I would love to visit.
For sure,
The
maybe
only
I don't know, maybe we find a festival or something and help you coming and stuff like that. So you should definitely, especially a Kizomba Congress or festival.
love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, why not?
uh,
Because we also have in our school we have two instructors, other two instructors that are teaching Kizomba, and we have some videos with them on YouTube, Armand and Lavinia, and Armand is amazing. He, as you said, he loves the music, and for him it's like,
Kizomba is like,
yeah.
you already know. You already know it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to ask you this. So I want to hear from both of you about this. Tell me, what are some lessons that you've learned from dancing that you're able to translate to your everyday life?
Oh, so many.
so many.
I'm gonna start with a few of them and then I will shut up because I will speak for 2 hours. So first is the thing that nothing comes easy. Yeah, so nothing comes like that. You have to put the work, the time, the patience. Second, it develops your body and your ability to move and control it into a whole other level. You could run, you could lift weights, you could, I don't know, do other sports. But I believe that dancing, it's, let's say, not the supreme method, but one of the best ways to keep your body in shape, have mobility, agility, speed, control, and also keep your mind sharp. Yeah. So all these things apply in everything you do in your daily life. Reflexes. You walk on the street and you fall, you know how to fall. And also on the, so this is more the physical part, but also on the psychological part, you are more resilient to stress, to you control your emotions better because you are in a continuous, when you're dancing, you're in a continuous emotional state from the music, from your partner, from the scene, from you get that rush, you do a move and you do it well, your partner follows you, you have that dopamine rush, you're like, oh my god, yeah! So all these things help you develop like it just makes your life better if you stick to it, because there are so many, unfortunately, this is a world phenomenon to say so, usually guys start dancing to meet girls. Usually. It's also the other way around, but it's more prominent on the male side. And many, let's say, many people, many people quit after a few months because they think it's really easy, but they find out that it's not that easy and it's not for them. So that's why I said you have all these benefic things,
Yeah,
but you have to
benefits.
stick. Benefits, exactly. But you have to stay in it. You cannot go for 3 months and get all this.
Yeah. For me, I think the most important thing that I learned in this period that I've been dancing is it's very important that to keep an open mind at everything in your life, not only in dance. Um, you learn a lot to express yourself, and it's very important also in our everyday life to know how to express your feelings and your thoughts and so on. And yeah, I gain a lot of self-confidence. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think
also.
it really develops yourself,
Yeah.
the dancing and so on, and it helps you in the real life because in nowadays it's very hard for a lot of people to have confidence in them and to do whatever they want. And yeah, I think dancing it's really helping on this side.
I definitely agree with what you said about the self confidence, and I think mastery in any skill, it really helps to, help you believe in yourself, give you that self confidence. So I definitely agree with that. Um, Let me ask you this real quick: for someone who is a beginner in whatever it may be, they're in this beginner stage. But they feel like they're not getting better. They're not progressing. They feel like they're stuck in this rut. What words of advice could you give that person?
Don't quit. Yeah, so this is like, the short message. Whatever you do, don't quit. It's gonna get better. But of course, you cannot only say it and he will take it as true value and stay there. We try to explain how things work. You might not get it now, you might not get it next week, but trust me, you will get it. And yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, and also it's not from my point of view, it's not like you have a word or a saying and you can tell it to each beginner. For us, it's very important to understand why he is struggling and what are his obstacles. And for each of our beginner, let's say, we are trying to find the best way to motivate them to go further and to really persevere in their dancing and in their practice.
And like a hack to say so for us as teachers, something that I do, as Elena said about the confidence, usually when somebody begins dancing, they don't have a lot of confidence and they get discouraged really fast. What we do, it's also true, but we are also trying to make them feel it. We always encourage them when they do something well. We say that was good. Keep doing that. That. So we focus more on what they are doing good than stating the errors. Yeah. That's for later. Yeah. So just quick, I have to change the battery for the camera, so I'm here.
Well, can I ask another question real quick?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I'm here.
Okay, cool, cool. I'm very curious to hear from you all. For someone who is an intermediate dancer and they want to get to that advanced level, what does it take for them to get there?
Master their basics.
Oh, you said it first.
Yeah, for us it's very important to. We have a lot of students also that they were beginners and then they get to the intermediate level, to say so. And we had the pleasure to have some students that they discovered by their own that they should come back to the basics in order to evolve better. So yeah, this is the thing that we tell them, that is the most important for the intermediates, let's say so. In order to get to the next level, you need to take a step back and really master your.
So it's like Bruce Lee, I think he said it, because quotes nowadays on internet, you don't really know who said it. He said, I would rather practice one kick 10,000 times than practice 10,000 kicks once. The different moves only once. So that was like the idea. So that's why mastering the fundamentals, the basics, and they are a lot. There are a lot of things on the basic level that you need to understand in order to progress.
Definitely understand that. So that question is a question that I ask a lot of the instructors, a lot of teachers that I have on the show, and um, 90% of them say, focus on the basics. That's what a vast majority of them say, and just how important the basics is, because they say, if you think of the basics as like building blocks, and so if you have a shaky foundation, then everything above it, is just not good. So that makes a lot of sense, and I definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
Let
and
me-
say.
well, I was gonna ask you, to keep going. I'm curious. When I say the word musicality, what does that mean to you?
You go.
So, in short, for me, musicality is when you show the music, to say so. As a hip hop dancer, I loved watching dancers showing me the music, because then I couldn't understand what I'm hearing. I couldn't be musical. It was, for me, it was, let's say, noise. But when I saw dancers that, they were like boom, boom, tss, tum, pa, ah. That was for me, wow, you can put music in your movements, you can show me the music. For me, that's like musicality. Being connected with your body to the music, if that makes sense. But of course, like this is what it represents for me. But let's say musicality from a technical point of view, it's, the ability to be musical, to be in connection with music. That being said, there's not only one way of being musical. Everybody can be musical. If you move to the beat, you are musical. You have musicality. Yeah. So that's for me the ability to see the music.
Yeah, for me, it's like more than what he said. It's like a personal way of showing how you understand and how you feel about the song that you are listening. It's it's a very personal thing for me because everybody hears different, the same song, let's say. I can listen to a song and I will hear some instruments and I will have a feeling that it's different and usually very different than what he hears, for instance. So yeah, it's musicality for me. It's a personal way of showing how you feel the music, that song, and what it transmits to you, and expressing the emotions that comes from that song. It says.
Yeah, so the what she said actually made me think of something, because I said musicality from like a third point of view, if that makes sense. It's like watching somebody else, and she said it from a first person point of view. And this is like complementary, because if we get a beginner or a dancer or somebody that wants to be more musical, I could say them, from this perspective, just show me the music. But if they cannot do that, they don't know how. They don't know the moves. They don't train the body. They don't have the physical abilities. They won't be able to express what Elena said, to feel. So these things, seeing it, knowing how to transmit it, and feeling it, let's say, complement each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, as Mario said, it's very, in order to be musical, it's very important to master the techniques and the basics and to have the moves, to practice the moves in order for you to be able to interpret that song with different kind of, with your body.
Yeah.
So I guess the follow-up question is, how does one improve their musicality?
Basic music theory. No, for real. Now, we are like, let's say, not quite opposites, but let's say we are totally different, me and Elena. Let's say like this. She's more on the feeling, to say so. She feels the music. She just, it's like, I'm gonna say a joke, to say so. In the movies, in the churches, when they sing and everybody's like, "Oh Lord," da, na, 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 and they just feel it. So that's like feeling it. And these people don't necessarily need, let's say, theory and concepts and stuff like that, because they already feel it. But there are the other side, those that cannot feel it from like that, and like that's me. And I started learning, effectively learning with the pen and paper, the basic music theory, how you count, why you count like that, what are the notes, the measures, the pauses, etc., etc., etc. I even started learning to play the piano, and it helped me a lot in becoming more musical because you understand what you hear. It's like language. The music, it's a language, it's something written, and you understand it. And that's why often, for example, she feels that a stuff is coming in music. I know a stuff is coming in music. So we are like two sides of the same coin. Of course, she began learning the theory because she wanted to understand
better what
what
I'm
she
feeling.
feels. Yeah, exactly. And I, because it started on the other side, I began feeling it. So it's like, complementary. And this is also something really interesting Eddie Torres said, because when he started teaching salsa, like for 15 or 20 years, I can't remember exactly the number of years, he was teaching it like just from the conga, like going to do pa, and he was saying when you hear that pa, you go forward. And afterwards, his partner or somebody that helped him began teaching him about the basic music theory, the music theory. And he said, why do I need this? Because I already know to dance. And that teacher, that person said, Eddie, you are an amazing dancer. But imagine what you can create when you will understand why you do what you do. And my mind was like,
I want
so
to real quick. I want to you add to that real quick. You just spoke on it, Marius, and Elena, you spoke on it earlier. What I want to say is that the ability to teach is a skill in and of itself, correct? Just because you are a great dancer or great at your craft does not automatically make you a great teacher, correct? So
yeah.
those are two separate skills that you have to master, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
like in short, I think like there are like four categories I would put somebody in to say so. So you can be a great teacher, you can be a great performer, like doing shows, stuff like that. You can be a social dancer,
A great social
a
dancer.
great social dancer, and you can how do you say, like for the competitions, because performing, or let's
Competitive
say,
dancer.
yes,
Like
yes,
a sportive, like a.
yeah, like in competition, because they are not the same with the shows. You can create awesome shows, but you might not be able to create choreographies for competition for the set of rules. So these are the four categories. But like for the normal person to say so, it's like teaching, performing, and social dancing. They are separate.
You need to master them differently.
For example, I consider, let's say, ourselves great teachers, second, great social dancers, and lastly, to say so, performers. Why? Because that doesn't mean that we don't create choreographies or shows, because our team won like 3 years in a row, like with the bachata choreographies and stuff like that. But it's not something that gets me up in the morning, to say so. But what teaching and sharing the information, and making somebody, when you are with somebody and you explain something and they have that aha moment and they understand it, for me that's my day.
Yeah.
When I see in the eyes of the student that he got it and he did that right turn, I don't know, and he's like, yeah, I did it, and I'm like, yeah, you did it.
Yeah, he usually is more enthusiastic about that than the student.
Yeah. So the student is like, yeah, I done it, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, so we are more on the people side,
Yeah.
on teaching and
Yeah.
this kind.
So let me ask you this thing real quick. I want to give some quick advice to maybe current teachers or future teachers, people who want to get into teaching. Tell me this: what are some things that you know now that you wish you had known when you first got into teaching?
A lot of them. So we actually have a project. Sorry, we have a project in mind, to say so. We want to create also a YouTube playlist with, let's say, small tips, tricks, advices, just for that, for like future, let's say, instructors. Because it's not about that we consider ourselves at a level on which we can, like teach other teachers. No, it's about knowing that there are many parts of the world that cannot, the instructors of those that want to teach don't have access. They cannot travel to get a teacher. They cannot get a physical mentor. And right now online, I couldn't for the life of mine find like a course how to create an instructor, to say so, or how to become an instructor. There are general rules, but so that's a project we have in mind. And the things that the answer to your question is, first, focus on your students. We did that since the beginning because, yeah, we already had like 5 years dancing before we started teaching, but right now we became more into it, to say so. We care more always for a future instructor. The most important thing is to care about his students, not about how he looks, not about how he dances, because there are a lot of instructors, a lot, that do not dance with their students. It's because, I don't know, they're afraid they might look bad, or I don't know, stuff like that. But you cannot be a good teacher if you don't help your student grow. So focus on your student. And another thing is always to become better and better and better, and to improve. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this,
and not only in dancing, but in teaching as well.
so always to improve and care about your student as best as you can, like your own child, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think
That's
those
perfect.
are the most important. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's definitely true. Let me ask you this. This will be the final question I want to ask you both. Can you give me? I want to hear from both of you all. Answer this, please. Can you give me one tip that can make anyone a better dancer immediately?
Immediately.
Yes. In short, don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Like, that's for me. You say another one.
Yeah, to improve immediately, I think, yeah, the best is to practice, practice, practice.
Like, that's for real. Let's say like this. So I was going with the don't overthink it, because mainly what stops us from becoming better is our own mind. For example, I have a student that does an okay wave. It's okay. He got it. He only needs to practice it. But he thinks that it looks awful. He doesn't know it. He will never know it. He'll never improve. Why is he here? He wants to go home. Stuff like that. He overthinks stuff, because we usually do that as humans. So just take what you're doing at face value. I'm at this level. Okay, I accept it, and I will move on. If you do that, if you accept the level at which you are and how you do the moves or the music or the connection or anything in dancing, you will become better immediately. Why? Because you don't have the obstacles anymore. And for you?
Yeah, for me, it's very important to practice. I mean, really, really practice. Whatever you want to learn, just take that move and practice it until you feel it as your own and you feel natural with it, and then you will look good also, and everything will be.
We have a saying also to the students: don't say you cannot do it if you haven't practiced it 100 times. So we did a challenge for ourselves and nobody else. We did 7 days of 100 basic bachata steps. It took like 10-15 minutes just to do those 100 basic steps, and it was done this year. So after 8 years of experience in bachata, and I found out a lot of stuff about my basic step.
And what we can improve.
So in like 10-15 minutes, I got a lot of information about myself, and I instantly became better. Then instantly in 15 minutes.
I understand that. I definitely understand that, and that's like going back to the basics. The fundamentals, how important they are. So I understand that.
Yeah, and the thing here with the basics and everything, because I remember when somebody told me, maybe somebody will watch this and won't understand why the basics are important or the fundamentals. The thing is, no matter how good you are or how much you want to understand this notion of the fundamentals are the most important, you will have that period of time, especially as a beginner, in which you will want to do everything. And it's normal. It's totally normal. But then when you begin, why don't I know how to do this? Why am I'm not good at this? That's the point where you have to go back to your basics. And by basics we mean, for example, I don't know, salsa, bachata, kizomba, reggaeton, doesn't matter. How you step, what's your posture, how you stay with your hips. Do you move your hips? You don't move your hips? Just decompose all these little things that are like in the basic step and see what you're not doing. And just that, how you move, how you stay, even how you breathe if you want, because you said like, of course I'm no expert in this. You said that you also do Brazilian zouk, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And also in Kizomba, as I believe from Armand, you can like, like you can dance with somebody and lead by your breathing, like as an example. And even breathing is a fundamental thing when you're dancing. So yeah.
Of course, definitely you put forth that energy, and that translates. So I understand that. I definitely understand that. Um, I think at this point, I really want to thank you both, Marius and Elena, for taking time out of your day to talk to me. I really appreciate that.
Gladly, our pleasure.
Of
Yeah.
course, of
Thank
So
course.
you again for doing this.
maybe in the future, if we do another one, we will do the reverse of it. We will interview
Ah,
you. Because no, for
oh,
real,
shucks.
whenever we talk with somebody, we are really interested.
We are
Like,
curious. We
yeah,
want to
yeah.
know you also.
That's why I asked what's your dance style and stuff like that. So here's another question: how long have you been dancing for?
Okay, sure enough. So I will be 29 this year. I probably started dancing when I was around 20 or 21. So about 7, 8 years now. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. And you started with
Salsa.
kizomba?
No, salsa.
Salsa. Yeah, you
Yes.
said that you started with salsa.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
if I can ask, what's the style of salsa? Because we have LA, New York, Cuban,
Yeah, yeah. So
Colombia.
I started with New York style on one. Yeah. And so that's yeah, I was scared of the dance floor. And started taking classes, super intimidated, super scared, but for some reason I just stuck with it. I fell in love with it, honestly. Fell in love with it, and here we are today. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to you
yeah,
guys.
definitely, definitely. So you just said it, when you asked me about the advice for a beginner, and I said don't quit. As you said, I stuck with it and I fell in love. So that's the story of every dancer. You just,
Sure enough.
yeah.
So real quick, tell me this. I know times are kind of crazy right now, but I'm very curious to hear from you all. Do you have any upcoming events? Anything going on that you would like to share with the people?
Right now,
It's
unfortunately, no.
very
No, we actually,
uncertain, the
yeah.
situation.
This year, unfortunately, we had the first year in which we would have traveled in a lot of countries, from Canada to USA, and Europe, and of course, yeah, but Europe is like our
It's close.
It's close, yeah. For us, it would have been an amazing experience because we had to go to Canada and also in USA, specifically in New York. And for me, like, was New York like, ah! But everything canceled, everything shut down, all the festivals, all the congresses, everything. So right now, we're empty. So
Yeah,
if
we are uncertain. We had some events that we were booked for, but for now they are all like or canceled or delayed, or we don't know. Even for the beginning of the next year, we are not certain,
yeah,
what will be.
So if anybody wants us, we're free.
So on that note, then tell me this real quick. How can people get in contact with you? How can they reach out to you?
Sure. We have all our contact information like in the description of every video. But as an idea, we have our email. It's a little bit complicated, so maybe we'll put our Instagram maybe or Facebook. It's Marius Elena Official, just like that. you find us because the email. When we started the school, we did the email in Romanian, and it doesn't make sense to say so. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's difficult to pronounce it.
yeah, but Marius Elena official, and you find us Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we have all the
TikTok.
contacts, even TikTok. Yeah.
So I'll say this real quick. When I publish a video, I will make sure that I put all your contact information in the details. So I got you on that.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank
Of
you. And
course,
I
of
will
course.
also, if you want, I don't know how I will do it because it's a big file. Maybe I will split it. I can send you, so what we will write. I can send you the video from the camera.
Perfect. That would be perfect. That would be amazing. That
For
amazing.
sure.
Like I said earlier, I truly enjoy this conversation with you too. I can tell, how passionate and how much you love, dancing and everything. I thoroughly
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
so real quick, before we close this out, do you have any last words you like to share with the people?
Yeah. First, I know it's cheesy to follow your passion and your dreams and put the work into it, and results will come. Because I finished the veterinary school, so I did 6 years of college to become a vet, a medical veterinary doctor. But in the third year, I wanted to dance, and I knew that this is what I want to do. And I finished the college, but I haven't practiced it. So I went all in into dancing, and I worked. We worked hard, and don't quit. Whatever you do, don't quit. Keep going, no matter how hard it is. There will be moments like this. For me, it's an awesome experience just talking to you. Like
Just to
sharing.
share, yeah.
Yeah, and this is why I fell in love with dance, because it connects us, and it's amazing. That's for me. You?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Just follow your dreams and put the effort, all the effort in them in order for them to come true. And another thing, maybe you have to be aware that from time to time you need to take some risks in order to accomplish your goals and your dreams, and don't be afraid to go full on it.
Yeah, like an example, I've lived it my entire dancer's experience to say so. For example, you take a beginner, doesn't matter, a beginner, he has 2 months of dancing, but he really wants to dance with, I don't know, let's say Desiree, or I don't know, Sara, or another really cool bachata artist. And you think, oh my God, I'm a beginner, they're such big stars, I will be ashamed, I'm afraid, and stuff like that. And if you don't risk it, if you don't go for it, you will have that feeling of, whoa, well, what would have happened? But if you do
have
it,
regrets.
yeah, but if you do it, doesn't matter how it goes. It might be the most awful dance in your life, but you will get that rush of adrenaline. Oh my God, I did it! I did it! I did it! Yeah. So just go for it.
Just go for it. I love it. I think that is a perfect way to wrap up this episode of the Two Left Feet podcast. I want to thank you once again. Thank you so much, Marius and Elena.
Our pleasure. Thank you for
Hey,
inviting us.
hey, of course, of course. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
Yeah,
You
thank you.
too.
You
Hey,
Thank
hey,
too.
of
you.
See
course, of
you.
course. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.
Bye. Bye.
That's all it is.
Hey everyone, if you made it this far all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much. My overall goal with making these interviews and these episodes is to give a voice to dancers, to give them a platform to speak their story. So if this is of value to anyone, then that means the world to me. My overall goal is to give value to the dance community. So, if you find no value in this, then I urge you to please let me know where I can improve on. I truly want to, just give value and content to the dance community. So please let me know how I can improve, where I'm messing up, because to be 100% honest with you, I'm learning along the way as I do this. I truly am. So to be able to interact with the dance community, it means the world to me, because it gives me feedback and it lets me know what I'm doing right, where I can improve upon, what I'm doing wrong, which I feel like might maybe more important. So please, if you all could comment and just let me know what you think, it means the world to me, because that feedback just helps me improve. So please comment as well. Please like and subscribe. That means a lot as well. But I want to say thank you so much for just watching this, because it means the world to me. I want to take you on this journey of the Two Left Feet podcast. I'm very excited for it. So once again, thank you so much.